Hi, this is Lisa Guthrie. I'm at 10507 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98133. And I just had dinner. Not very civilized looking, but I've been reduced to just sort of thinking about personal safety in this apartment and living in sort of a manner that's almost like camping due to the fact that the gang members were given the key. He's near this building, and they're playing transducer. And there's been a lot of head and chakra theft. In this broadcast, I talk about the gang members here, and I let you hear them. They're camping out illegally in a wall that it's illegal. They're not supposed to be in here, and very illegal. And they're playing prostitute, and they just took somebody out of my uterine that they made. It doesn't mean it was somebody living in me. It means they took, and they're playing double. So the bums are zombies. They fell with Satan 13 years ago, everyone in the U.S. And then there's a bum, by the way, in car, and he's playing When They Leave. Transduce when they leave. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to use vast amounts of energies that people weren't even supposed to know about. And it's a zombie kidnapper in the car. And he's linking with the building. Transduce when they leave. Like, ooh, I'm going to hide her. Ooh, and Bum's playing favoritism. Bum and head. And he's pretend kidnapper is a favoritism. Bum in bathroom. He's behind the wall playing favoritism. I take my garbage out, so I'm actually going to put this in my pocket because I need my phone here. There are a lot of the zombie bums in here. Not actually in the empty storage room. They're not in my apartment. They set up camp here. The managers gave them the keys as soon as I had moved in. And you can hear a bum. He's in a storage room. Oh my God. Everybody's a drunk or druggie here. Here's the inner smoking area. Took more uterus. And I'm going to tuck the phone in my pocket. He knew that because he stole chakra. Would I have protected him, you say? No. How's your granny? How's your family tree? One of the ugly males in the storage room is an ugly, short, black male. He's not very dark, and he's sort of short. Likes to hang out on Aurora with his buddies, and there's something sometimes red about his skin tone. He was in California recently. One of the other bums in my wall earlier, it was an ugly black female. She's, I think, a man. She reminds me of a Bigfoot. And so the ugly black male, he's one of the things that masturbate into the water supply and throw poisons in. Shut the hell up, you fucking bitch. I'm gonna throw acid on you. You back, bitch. He's threatening me. He's saying, you were supposed to get your cheeks done today. What is he? To carve up my cheeks. What threatening me, bitch? I'll do it right back to you. So whatever you try to throw at me or do to me, I have the right to defend myself. Oh, I think he's threatening cutting. Oh, razoring, I forgot. And Evie, a black female where I volunteer, she's from a recovery cafe. She has large eyes. They're connecting with the razoring. Evie's kind of pudgy. She's about 5'6". She had a big belly recently. She had a gallbladder problem. By the way, if you throw acid on me, I'm just going to give you a big hug with acid all over me. So, the black guy, he sits in the wall and masturbates into the wall. Whatever you do to me as I'm fighting you, I'm going to do it right back to you. That's my right to defend myself. Oh, by the way, it's popular among black Nazis and other people. They like to protect the government. And earlier today, this person is sitting in the room. He has axe, or standing, his axe up. Whoops, I stopped this. They had some large bloods at Safeway that were also black Nazis in red, and they had their tattoos, and they were quite beefy. I'm not complimenting them, but quite muscular, and 5'10" or so, and it was oh gosh, maybe, let's see the time. Oh, it was at Brooklyn Safeway. Oh, by the way, the person screaming, she's undoubtedly in on crimes. Oh, and they just took chest and blew it up quite a few times. And they're playing Get Your Blah, 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 and Blah, Blah, Blah. Chest. They're playing Courtesy. Just excuse me, I have to curse them. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I made the mistake of repeating it back and thinking he was going to throw acid. He was actually talking about cutting the cheek. So, I have to look back in my notes, and it was probably, let's see, what time at Safeway. And they had some retards that were going to play mental hospital. And one of them was a fat, pale Hispanic, and then kind of an other female. A lot of the bloods and other bums, they like to pretend that they're government or nurses or doctors, and it might just be as simple as a meth head following you around in a piece of in a scrubs outfit, which is, it's fairly easy to get. The bum in there has chains. By the way, one of the bums that hangs out in the storage room also works here. A couple of them. It's a black guy who's 6 feet tall, who was noticeably quite crazy, very crazy, and had a problem where he'd stalk women and become very menacing. You can hear people, one woman shrieking and telling me to shut up. They're not trying to deny it. They're just shrieking and telling me to shut up. Now, what time was that? So, 4:30 maybe at Safeway on Brooklyn. A bunch of bloods. Black guys with tats. And they were thinking they'd get me in the parking lot. And one of the bums here just threatened me. But you can't see her. She's in her apartment. She's saying, blah, 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 brutally. Blah, 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 brutally. So I'm repeating back what they're saying to me. When I make a threat, it's I'm repeating back what they say. But I did tell them that I would defend myself. If someone gets acid on me, I'm going to go hug them and get acid all over them. So the whore, I think, was talking about raped brutally, and they did took chest. And see, they don't have their own powers, but Satan taught them things, and they could see the invisible after they took the vow of Satan. And one of the things they were doing earlier is, because remember they're playing with magic, they said, we're going to have everybody in the world here tonight. And what's their primary goal? To make everyone a human zombie. And these dirty, filthy, ugly bums think they're going to rule the world. And even if you're a blood, they think they're going to have about 300 that prevail over everyone, and you'll be their slave. Or even their food, because they're also cannibals. They're not only interested in eating etheric body, they're interested in eating actual people, visible people. One of the women just repeated the name of where I volunteer and go, and there was a head EN 744, and it was lamp-like. And they're playing Lisa's a Whore games, and they've done this for 13 years. I brushed up against a gang member, a set of gang members up north of here that were Bloods. And I reported them because the meth lab smell was killing me. You know, I have asthma, allergies, and chemical sensitivities. And then the bums here also do the same thing. What they'll do is enter your unit, your apartment, and then maybe you'll feel a pinprick and you're raped, and then they'll call you a whore. Or they'll just follow you around everywhere, calling you a whore. These people tried to set me out as a prostitute, and they have threatened me every day, including to kidnap me. And they scratched my face. My hands are burned. And one of the bums likes to masturbate and talk dirty about religious themes. And the bum in there is talking about Madonna. One of the themes of the Satanist is to defile anyone who's angelic or religious. So, you know, that's one of their themes. And so they're all they've all threatened to rape me, mutilate me. Just as you heard in the bathroom, he was yelling about doing your cheeks. I think that, and then I thought he said, you know, meant acid, but he evidently meant, you know, cutting them up. And then I remembered, oh yeah, that was one of the threats with the big guys or something later. That indeed I saw at Safeway, because a couple people at where I volunteer were involved in that. Sounds crazy. Oh, and then they chant things like, we're not going to let go of you. Lots of, we're not going to let go. Bums are pretending to have a relationship with me. Their favorite thing is to pretend either, let me tell you some of the things they try to recreate or falsify. They falsify relationships. They falsify who you are. And when they steal identities, they might even make you as ugly as possible so nobody recognizes you anymore. They burn my hands by putting acid in the shower, I guess it was, or a bleaching agent. And, you know, that's what happened. I burned my hands with some tea water. It wasn't very dark, and normally a burn would look like that, but the bad water, it smelled like a meth lab that weekend, and they were parked in the storage room making meth, evidently. It's a janitor closet. It's around the corner, and it wraps around the kitchen and the bathroom. And one of them is threatening or making decrees, and her apartment is probably in the smoking area, or she's in someone's apartment. I think she said, "You'll be on your knees so we can stone you." And it's a dirty prostitute. And see, Satan glorified these people. And it's a whore. And they just did uterine at 7:49, and they're playing Got My Movie Star. Listen. And now one of the whores that's yelling is someone I think named Maria. She's a hooker, and she looks like a hooker, but she looks kind of like a bug. She looks very creepy, and she has dark hair, and she's got a huge nose, and she likes to wear short skirts. She looks about late 30s or 40s. She looks really too old for the short skirts. And she's getting a bit fat again. And by the way, she's a blood, and she's in on meth, and she likes to advertise or answer Craigslist ads so she can house sit. She has dark straight hair. She goes to Mary's place so she can pick up outfits and act like she's a big shot. That's what a lot of the hookers do, or the other bums. They'll get entry into your home that way. They'll look credible because they'll pick up a $1,200 suit that's been donated, and or some cute dress, and suddenly they look halfway normal. And the bum is playing, "Well, you're not attractive, yap, yap." See, that's the whole thing with the rapists. And it's not about being attractive with these bums. They just want to rape to, quote, sub someone. They just took head large. And I just saw a spirit. And I was actually quite attractive before the glass that they put in my apartment and also sprinkled on me in various locations, including on the bus, the 45 route, and before that the E line. One of them is yapping threats or decrees, and they just took uterine. And and Maria's about 5'6". Oh no, she's taller than that. I'd say 7, 8. Oh, and then she thinks she's an artist, and I think people just feel sorry for her because she draws these things that look like a 10-year-old. They're hideous. Ugh, they look like a 10-year-old drawing women. Head. And they're playing Wednesday Got Attorney. And they just took a person out of me. They made a person, 2 of them, times 2. And they're playing Rent, and they're taking it out of my head. See, they're not bright, the zombies, but they have a zombie mechanism in place that it'll help them to steal brain. They don't have their own brain. They were all 80 IQs when they fell with Satan. They dragged me down. And I'm the only one who had a soul or essence or chakras and spirit. None of them had any of the above. And then there's bum playing indenturing, yappity yappity. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. They just took another head. And also the freaks are pounding. They're trying to, also when they take someone made of you, they will often eat it or like chew on it and then try to tell it what to do. That's one of the methods that Satan gave zombies. The zombie retards, they could sit there with this open channel of intent and do things, including, "You will die." And they also did it to live, well, I call them live or invisible or dead entities, which really, if someone's dead and they're walking around just like you, what does that mean? Well, they feel themselves as solid and real, as solid as you and I do. So when they tortured the invisibles, which Satan let them do, it was actually as important as torturing, visible humans, and maybe even more. And they're playing Monday, they're making decrees. You're just a bunch of dirty bums. You're just filthy, ugly retardos. And you're not going to rule me. And they just took leg. You're dirty, ugly, retarded bitches. The men are bitches. They're trying to punish me because I'm moving around. They're also trying to make it so I'm debilitated, so I wouldn't be able to move. One of their plots now is to take my check, move in, and frame me for their crimes. There's also, they threatened me for my kidney. They've even had people following me around threatening me for my kidney. They also have videotaped me illegally. They're pretending they're researchers, and they thought it would be fun to torture and starve me on video while pretending it was somewhere in Russia or wherever suited their retarded scheme. Or they would pretend they were police, or they would pretend they're police. They're not police. These people are bums. And the truth is about the American gang member is that they're all heavily reliant on social services. And they're all retarded, all of them, every one of them. And I just heard a gun clip, and they're playing You Will Leave. One of the plots of the gang members, if they can't move in with you, they will try to have it so you will leave and leave them with a free month's worth of rent and all your possessions. And your bank book, and maybe you'd be rooting out the garbage. It's happened to white people in the U.S. that weren't bad. There's a definite race theme to this whole thing, and anyone playing reverse racism, oh, it's not racism, that's a bunch of BS. It also was racism in the spirit world. 9 times out of 10 it was white, or it was other that was my favorite. You've got the bums arguing, just shut your yap. Nobody wants to hear your yap, bitch. So the bums at 10507 Aurora, North Seattle, Washington 98133 have told people and me that they've claimed me. Well, guess what? They're all retardos. I don't have respect for retardos. Why would I want to be claimed by a retardo? They're all retardos. One's talking about his gun, and he's behind the sink. It's the short black guy that recently got back from California. He's sort of light. There was a red tone to his hair one time at a certain light, but I saw him downstairs. I don't hang out with any of these people. There's constantly my dresser against the door, or constantly a stick against it. And now I've had to buy a motion detector because the freaks are so crazy they threaten to chop through the floor or the wall. And the bum has taken parts of me playing I'm evincing my own mother. What they like to do is to take my parts and then play I'm evincing me. I'm evincing so-and-so. It's England. Well, what they want to do is cover up the fact they decimated in the spirit world. They're playing oral. Supposed to oral. So it's not, and then there's one of the bums, he was saying you're not attractive. Well, they threatened me with rape. They've threatened me to prostitute me, which is actual rape. They will threaten you even if you're not, quote, attractive. I was until they cut my face with glass, back, and several large tissue drops. So you might hear me curse them. Am I a violent person? No, you're going to hear me even curse them with acid and going through their body with acid. Do you think that's a visible thing? No. You might hear me, and don't try to stop me, or you're going to be as cursed as they are. But you're going to hear me curse them. You might hear me going through their, like cursing to go through their body with fire. Does that mean, oh yeah, fire? How could you do that to everybody? So obviously, we're talking, oh, and the bum out there, he just took back, and he's a retardo, and he's playing vampire. A lot of the bums have made, quote, vampires out of people, including the spirit world and animals. Are they talented? No. But they have grabbed chakra and other parts, and Satan taught them how to do that. They're all retarded, no matter what they do. Don't let it fool you. They're retarded. 80 IQ, that's all. Nothing to them but moronic. And I hope that everyone in the U.S., and well, actually, who hates them, and anyone in any universe could see all the injuries they've done to my astral and physical. They've dropped head. They're playing on your knees. Yep, it's the dirty, ugly bitch. He's playing on your knees at a restaurant. Go to hell, you ugly bitch. Go to hell. That restaurant won't even exist after I'm done. You'll have a fucking flood, bitch. You're not going to force me to do anything, you fucking ugly bitch. You're a fucking ugly maggot. God, they've done uterine, and they're playing each restaurant. Each restaurant, on your knees. On your knees. Huge tissue drops from all of you fuckers. In fact, you just cursed the whole U.S. to have all their tissue out, bitch. Including you, you fucking bitch. Excuse my language. What you did to me, you did it to everybody. You did to everybody. Just 801. And what I'm saying, so lots of chakra and bum playing movie stars over and over. One of the goals, they wanted slaves. They wanted people to pretend history was okay. They had people doing their dirty work, including made out of me. I'm not going to allow it anymore. Those people will menace every one of you bastards and do terrible things to you. And you can go to hell, and you're going to burn in hell. You're a bunch of satanic, ugly bastards. Head large. Head again. Why would they steal brain? Well, think about it. If they steal a brain of a smart person and they're retarded, how could that person defend themselves? And they've called themselves warriors. Guess what? I have chronic fatigue, asthma, allergies, chemical sensitivities, bleeding ulcers. I guarantee they're not warriors. They're not even brave. They're not even strong. You get one by himself, he's going to be afraid and crying. You get three, they're dangerous. They just blew out legs. They're playing, you're going to blah, blah, blah. You're going to shut up, bitch. You're going to shut up. I'll get every rival gang after you. I'm going to give them all your business, bitch. Anybody who wants to peek in your head will do it. I don't want them to have my business, but anyone who wants to peek in you, they're going to get your info. And if I have to step over your body during Armageddon, I'll be laughing. Get boring after a while, and I'm going to have to get away from the stench. That would be my primary goal, to get away from the stench of the zombies dying and eating each other, which I don't give a damn if you eat each other, you're zombies. You're just retardos. They were dead 12 minutes when Satan brought the bastards back to life, and he chose bums that were definitely inferior of all colors, because he knew even the whites would sell out whites and others. And also, the bum, one of the bums who made an agreement with Satan, he was angry at me because I was asleep with him, and he cursed all my favorites, including my ancestors. Burn in hell. They're also trying to harm me. I have, an inspection tomorrow. Well, it could be random. Somebody could come to your apartment. And they try to, they just did an energy field. They're playing old lady. You just put the curse on everybody, you ugly bitch. You put all the curses on everybody in the whole U.S. This to our head. You're still ugly bitches. You're not going to tell me what to do. 5 ugly bitches that thought they'd beat me up. They're not going to fucking tell me what to do. You're bitches to me. You're selling rape material to me. That's all you are. Am I talking rough? Well, I'm an educated woman, but these things don't deserve anything except a kick. That's gentle. If I ran a prison, I'd be having them beaten. Or I would, if someone said, well, you have to put them in prison, you can't put them to death, I would say, ugh. Well, there's 8 areas of the brain to remove in these things. So I would have to have those 8 areas removed. Why? First thing you prevent is the ESP. And you want them to have lobotomies because you don't want that violence. I guarantee the U.S. is going to have to go under martial law. And they might need other countries to help them. And I won't be surprised if they just start locking up towns. And guess what? As long as I'm not locked up in the town, I would definitely agree. And a lot of these bums have takeover plots, and people talk about the white Nazis. Well, I wouldn't join them. Why? They didn't like my favorites. Because I like warm-skinned Russians, along with my other favorites, like the English, Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. I like Italians that are warmer skinned, along with the other Italians. I like, some people in Europe don't look as white. And a lot of people in history that I would have liked, such as biblical people, they might have had olive skin. And so the white Nazis, they're not going to, be what I would join, but I wouldn't want the black Nazis or the white sellouts that went with them. There are no whites in America. They've all been done over by the shit you've heard. They got a hold of a power with Satan, and they were reprogrammed by bums. And these bums, like the shit you're hearing, absolute excrement of the world, bums and whores, with no brains, no education, no merit whatsoever, they reprogram people. They're all garbage. So there are no normal people. Even celebrities are zombies in the U.S. I'm not going to mention names, but they all operate on a zombie network. And the bum, by the way, what's he doing? He thinks he's so big. He's attacking my brain and making it bleed. He just did it to everybody, apparently, in the U.S., just like the other injuries. He even did it to himself. He said, we're all going to go back. Now, you heard one of the fruits like as in gay, freaks, but you heard him, he said, we're all going to go back. What does he mean by that? In time. They even did time travel. They also brought forth people. They took urine and chest. There's a whore in the shower area. You're still an ugly bitch. 13 years later, worth of playing, you're still ugly retardos. You're still gross. You're still ugly. You're still worthless. You're bums. Blah, blah, blah attitude. There's one chanting blah, blah, blah attitude. Yep, yep, yep. Blah, blah. Shut up. Shut up, bitch. They like to grab intent, like if you have a self-disparaging thought, they'll say, oh, you said you couldn't do that. And they'll grab it. They did that to me in the early stages. They grabbed talents and abilities. They just grabbed uterine. It's a dirty, stinking whore. Can you imagine 132 million defilements touching your body? 132 million garbage bags full of absolute waste. And you want to know what they look like? They look like, well, they're not souls. And let's see, 2809, head and uterine. And the bum has a chain, head, uterine, several, and head again. Head again. And chain rattling. You're not scaring me, bitch. And what they think they're going to do is like where somebody leaves everything and they're going to run off with someone who's threatening them because they're so scared and they don't know where to go, or they're going to end up eating by the garbage can because of these things, because they're going to be so scared and they're going to leave their apartment. These things can go to hell. Die, bitch. They died 13 years ago. They need to die a physical death. Shut up, you ugly bitch. One of them is chanting policeman. They always pretend they have a policeman. Guess what it always is? It's a retarded maggot pretending to be a policeman. A retarded maggot. And they're playing deed and snapping their fingers. Go to hell. You're wasting my... I hate the zombies also because of all the waste. They waste. They've entered my apartment, as I said. They're, freaks and dirty. You don't want to touch your stuff without washing everything. What are you going to do? Wash it in the filthy water? So now I've had to buy wipes at the store. Luckily, they have them at the dollar store. Shut up, ugly bitch. Can you imagine how much time it takes to chart notes about this excrement I'm talking about and that you hear? Do you know how much waste it's caused, like having to pay for storage every month? How much food and water I've had to throw away? Food and beverage, rather. They have done nothing for the universe. And the bums in the U.S. have been bums like this for at least 13 years. I'm thinking sum total, I've heard 20, by the limited amount of the spirit world that has been able to get through. That if they weren't zombies, 20, they were headed for it because, like, you know how Jay Leno shows how retarded people are in America? They can't answer simple questions. They are like that. And all these freaks in the bathroom wall and the other wall, they're rapists. And some of the worst rapists in the world, I would say, guess who they are? They're females that are prostitutes. So never again will I ever have any true sympathy for any American prostitute, including Green River bums or anywhere else. Why? I've seen prostitutes come after people, including me, and they're the first ones to try to have someone raped. They want everyone to be a rape victim like them. They want everyone soiled. They traffic children. And the males, it causes a reaction too when the prostitutes are around. They figure, oh, well, we can get anyone. We got her, we'll get this one. Shut up, you ugly bitch. You're nothing but a gross, ugly bitch. You're a grotesque, ugly bitch. Shut up. There's a fat slob in there in the wall too. He's the 5'9" freak. I mentioned him. He's white. Dirty, ugly bum that nobody wants. Constantly threatening with rape. They took huge soul amount out of me and they're playing judgment. Dirty, filthy, freaking filth. And they're playing, as long as I don't put my hands on. I didn't give him permission. $8.15, bum and whore. Huge. Oh, and then another. They made another person. Another paid. Another bum. Took person out of head. They're playing music. I'm cursing them. I should have said the time. And another. 7:14, or it's 8:14 it was. 8:14, 8:14. I can, you know, I've got all this stuff to do. Head blowout. And whore playing eating you. And actually, I'm gonna, any part of me that's out there, I'm gonna destroy. If it's out of my body, I'm gonna destroy it. If I'm playing, you're gonna obey, and alternately. They think they're safe, they play the word alternately. Chest, uterine, and there's a bike that had some of me. There's another agenda, because remember, they wanted me to starve in my room while they had me on video playing and they're playing Visit You, or something video. 8:16, there's too much clutter in front of this. I want you to be able to hear the window, out the window. Head, they took more head. Did they have brain, you say? No. There's a spirit in here that's no good. Not to suggest earlier that every spirit was a good spirit. There's a thing yapping. And like I keep saying, 13 years ago, you didn't have to fear the yapping of the insane asylum patients. 20 years ago. Why? Because Satan was intent current. The shit in Wallace playing eating you. Well, he attacked all of you, as he attacked me, by the way. All of them did. For the last 13 years. They're playing funnel view. They're sheer morons. And the zombie method is in place, or not method, but a zombie sort of mechanism is in place where it actually, even if you say, well, I'm putting a worm in their body or a maggot or something, which you want to watch because you don't want them, the zombie thing, in nature. They have prided themselves also on screwing up nature. That's playing selling your head. They're playing going backward, blah, blah, blah. They often love, oh, the horror is talking about King Richard. They pulled people from England that were spirits. It's a dirty, filthy, retarded American hooker. And she dares to talk about a king, albeit not a nice king, but a king. A brilliant king, brilliant but crazy. And they're playing their demons. So the bomb is calling people demons, and they have a game where they've called everyone demons. Bomb whore playing King Richard, and whore playing, especially after surgery. They kill the U.S. They just did chest, and so that's one of the reasons right there it's dangerous for them to have any part of me. Uterine, and they have chains on my chakras. And they have a zombie bum, and he's racing, or not racing, but he's in his car chanting, Jessica. One of the names Jessica has been used to trigger attacks, or call people by the name of Jessica, so you don't know what, or things or non-things, so you don't know what's going on. They're playing holding, and the bum in the wall is eating me. It's the fat, ugly bastard. He has a slight blonde mustache. He thought he and his buddies would intimidate me. So that there's Fatty out behind me. He's 5'9". And he's threatening me, and he likes to hang out in the wall master. And then the black guy that is not very tall, not very dark, sort of, he was just back from California, and then his friends who's tall and thin and has to stoop over, they were coming the other way. So they thought they'd keep me in my apartment, basically. They could all go to hell. I don't give a damn if I get out there and there's a, you know what? I'm going. If I need to go somewhere or want to go somewhere, you're not going to stop me. And they tried to get me for groceries and go to hell. And guess what? There's every 3 miles, and some of these bums can go to the food bank, and they actually feed these bastards twice a day. Twice a day. So you've got Fatty, but you would like to know something that happened? The bums actually pretended I was, taking all their food. It's like this, oh, she ate all the food. They've got these systems where they've destroyed real food. They're trying to get people on to cannibalism. Spirits have talked to me about that. They've tore at my head quite a bit. I'm getting frustrated. I have nowhere to put stuff on the table because I haven't washed the floor yet. They've glassed the apartment almost every day. If I lay my hand or foot on a surface, it's going to get cut. Phase 2. So I can't keep blankets here. I try to lock them up in the suitcase, but the fat bastard and another bastard have bragged that they have housebreaking tools. They just took back. And I'm going to broadcast you bastards in public to your friends that were playing nurse in mental hospital. They went right to YouTube. And maybe, you just don't know. You don't know about those guys in the red shirts, do you? Or one of them had a red shirt. It creeps at the Safeway. That's going to happen every time you harass me. You're going to be on YouTube. And I'm going to announce that you're blood. No, I'm not going to be obediently. You're going to cut yourself up gonna die, go to hell. You're not gonna tell me what to do, you fat retardo. The fat retardo, by the way, he is a special ed person. He's been in special ed school. That's all he ever did. That's a double standard in America. Like I said, they won't diagnose you as crazy as long as you're a drug addict. If you're a drug addict, you're not crazy. And they'll put you in a position of authority. And a lot of these bums don't even work half the time. They sit. They've pretended well, Satan did it too. They've pretended that there was a reason to hurt me, and they've actually used that as an economic sort of system. Like, oh, if you hurt her, you'll get this perk. And then they've tried to make a perk. So it's like they're a falsely created system, or that's not actually the word, but like a system of evil. And remember, they all try to present me as Satan. Bum claim you owe money. In reality, I owe nothing to them. And the bums will pretend you owe money for everything, even if you breathe. And they'll pretend that you owe for water, and who are they? They're ugly, filthy bums. Do they have anything to do with the water department, you ask? No. I had to put bleach in a bottle. And I don't bleach, but I have to. They're playing get yourself beaten up. Bitch, you're going to be on TV. By the way, how's your ancestors? So they set out to destroy my ancestors and my favorite. Shut up, you ugly bitch. In a harsh way, it doesn't scare me. It just makes me know you're a shit, and you're just a whip. You don't scare me, you're a bomb. You're just filthy, ugly bomb. Shut up. Shut up, filthy, ugly bomb. Go die. One of them was playing Evince a Bank earlier. I blame these bums for some of the troubles in the world where some places have gone bankrupt. And these bums, can you imagine 132 million morons playing with magic? $132 million bums. And we're talking even children. So what happens to megalomaniacs, I can't even talk today, megalomaniac society practicing magic? Remember, they tried to have everyone punish me too. Who was I? Just somebody who didn't take the fall of Satan with them. I don't know whether to use bleach on that stuff or not. On the stove. So these are all retarded maggots, basically. And I guarantee if you put maggots in them, what they do, they'll grab or play machine. So the zombie mechanism is in place. They call real people demons. They call real people by deceptive names. They've also called different groups by different names. They ruined ethnicities. And they called people by the wrong names purposely. By the way, as I've been talking, my head is cracked. And by the way, just because something's invisible, don't think it's just an attack at your etheric body. It indeed might involve your physical body, because you're limping. It just might have occurred invisible. 132 million people were killing people in other countries, and also normal people in America. I just saw a UFO, just a second. And they're playing England. And they're trying to always come up with an excuse. There's 3 of them. And where they get the UFOs, they're often making them out of my chakras. They're playing Irishman. Now, one of the things they try to set against me is like, oh, well, we'll punish you. We'll use your thoughts and we'll say that you did this, you want that, and we'll punish you. Now, the charging of my phone has stopped. Why? The wall sockets are so hot, it's a phone ruiner. And a head bleeding at 30. Head and uterine. Lots of head, uterine, etc. By 8:29, one of the bums is making a decree, blah, 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 blah. Back blow up, 8:30. They're playing Junt. And one of them is going yap, yap. And they're playing Irishman, English. They have an obsession with destroying my favorites. And these retardos also like to chant things like, oh, and whore's taking uterine, and she's playing dinners. Dinners that eat all of you. From stem to stern, as they'd say. Moronic whore. That's a whore. And 8:30, and one of the bums is he's eating chakra. And Satan tried to set it so these people would look healthy and glow with my chakras. No, you want them to look. You want them to look like dead flesh or excrement. You want them to look like wrinkled old bags and like mummies. You want them to look deformed. You want them to look hideous. They don't look like people underneath the flesh. It doesn't mean you could go up to them and just peel the flesh away like some sci-fi. It means they look like gremlins after you fed them after midnight. They don't have a soul. That's why they're constantly trying to use like the dead souls, the souls of the dead. And believe me, the dead were actually more alive than they were because they weren't reanimated flesh. These things are reanimated flesh. There's a zombie mechanism in place. It'll grab head even from me if you try to cast it out of its body. So we need to work on that. Now, there is only one love. That's the love that God gave us. These things are godless. And after they destroyed even angels, if I talk about it too much, I mean, it could make you just go insane. And they took down heaven, and they bragged that they hurt God and Mary and Jesus. And, but the thing is, they're still afraid of this God force. I do know they killed godly people. They even took people of religious people, and they tortured them satanically and made them into Satanists. There's a uterus, and there's a car, and they're playing Our Camp. Wednesday, Our Camp. Why is Wednesday significant? Well, I volunteer somewhere, and it's a day services, and I've had to have financial help because I have to pay for my storage unit. So I couldn't always feed myself, so it has helped me to eat lunch. But, I've donated quite a lot to charity, including, I've donated, quite a lot to the Cancer Society and quite a lot before I went homeless. And I'm not homeless now, but it's like being homeless because I have to carry so much. I've donated, and a whore is gnawing at me. At head. Do you know what she's doing? She's playing blah, 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 blah. It means blah, 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 blah. So Satan taught the bums, if they gnaw at you, it'll get mad death. 833 uterine. Head gnawing by 4. So can you imagine a defilement gnawing on you? That's what they've done. And in the end, it shall be inconsequential to me. Enjoy the cancers you get, and I'm every poison and every venom. And enjoy the curses, because they're falling upon you. And if you knew what my head felt like, it's probably felt quite the same as somebody who's been in battle and woken up and maybe had gotten patched together, maybe it hadn't. So they're trying to starve me and keep me from going also anywhere. They've actually tried to stop me from showering. They've stood in the shower area, dumping poisons, threatening me, cocking a gun. Oh gosh. And now, so there's a couple areas of entry that they thought they would do. So it's usually the door, but remember this dresser's usually at the door. And I have a stick, so I've had to buy, okay, add that to the barges full of waste that these bums have caused. So I don't even deal with dishes anymore. If I just sterilize it on the stove enough to so I can cook a bit. I'm gonna say bye-bye to all that. I'm gonna actually be out on the weekends, I think, with my chicken and some yogurt and recording any of them who follow me anywhere. So if they say, oh, we couldn't get on this bus, well, we'll follow her on the next bus. They're going to be all broadcasted. Any threats, broadcast. They're playing Build the World. So it's constant set of fraud that they do. Head. So they took a lot of spirit and a lot of head. And on a nuts and bolts, like if you say, oh, she's psychotic, blah, blah, blah. Well, you can hear the maniac shouting in the background. So just because I might talk about paranormal doesn't mean that the, I can't say normal, but the physical world and what I'm describing isn't happening. And there have been some bumps and car bumps, including 837. Now I'm thinking how I'm going to mop, because I have to, excuse me, and a bum's playing, Crystal, sleep with you. After one click, what's going? A bum is chanting, and I don't have time to write down all the bummery, as I call it. Finger and Crystal, after one, sleep with you. So a lot of the bums game, it was to rob me of my chakras and to pretend I did all these evil things and then call me, oh, the has-been, and pretend I was a prostitute. They just took stomach. I'm not going to put up with it anymore. And there's a bum and car. You have no future even if you kill me tomorrow or tonight. You have no future, any of you. You're done. You're cursed by every curse. So brilliantly, you cursed yourself. Want to know how they did this? I can't even talk. What would you like to know how they did it? They kept pretending they were me. So in that event, well, they invoked all curses against themselves and anyone else who played me. Just like they poisoned me and then they love sucking blood or eating me. Do you think you could avoid being poisoned eating someone who's been poisoned, especially if you're eating them by psi? head and chest. And they're still yapping and yapping, yapping. You're all still retardos. You always will be retardos. If you wake up 1,000 years from now and someone lets you wake up, you're still ugly retarded. You're going to stay ugly retarded. You're nothing. They're saying you're going to do this. The guy on the bike, I just heard him, he's got significant amount of chakra. There's a large amount of my chakras out there. They're playing medium. Suck everybody up. Back and back. Head. They're playing husbands. Chest. Bums talking about Europe. Or urine. Urine. You are urine. Oh, he's bragging. A large part is already urine, he said. And can he say urinate? No, he's illiterate. He said a large part is already urine. You are urine. Your vomit, fecal, pus, menstrual blood, semen, and every disease and every curse. You've been urinated 900 trillion years. Oh, and then there's a uterine sucking bum 841. It's one of the whores. Whores. Or one of the bums. I'm pure acid in all of you. And this is backdated. Anyone who ate or drank me, I'm going to be pure acid and whip right through you. And it's been 900 trillion years, and you're all acid for 900 trillion years. You're all dissolved for 900 trillion years. Be all right. Oh, they're playing fixing you. They're dirty, filthy bums playing fixing you. You're filthy, ugly, retarded bums. They're playing courier. It's a whore playing courier. You don't make decrees, you ugly whore. You're not going to tell me what to do, whore. You're a dirty, ugly whore. And you're not going to tell me what to do, bum. You're a dirty, ugly whores and bums. You're retarded. Let's put uterine and head. Be all right, chops off all of you. Turn to that and look at it. One of the bums is trying to pretend he can make rules. They are. They're bums. Can you imagine 132 million bums trying to make rules? You're all bums. You're still bums after 13 years. With all the brain you stole and information you stole, you're still ugly, smelly, dirty, ripe for the grave bums. Just go die. Then took uterine. So they're trying to screw it up so I wouldn't be able to clean for this inspection. They've tried to play, you're just going to lie there. Shut up, you ugly bitch. You don't tell me what I'm going to do. You don't make decrees. You're a bum. And anyone who answers your intent is a bum and a moron too. And whatever answers your intent is gone. Gonna be gone. Shut up, you ugly bitch. You're still ugly bitches. They took large tissue. Give me everyone's tissue. They're playing parking lot, and they like to pretend that you're giving permission for something. Even if I curse them with the all right has them or something, they'll then turn around and try to take. You're still vomit, phlegm, pus, menstrual blood, semen, urine, fecal, you ugly bitches. Shut up. Shut up, bitch. That's also a racial war. They're playing minorities. They think they're going to control all the whites. And not just all the whites, but minorities that aren't in a takeover plot like these idiots. Head, shut up, ugly bitch. They're playing even my congressman. Shut up. If anyone agrees with you, they're just a dirty zombie too. They're just filthy maggots like you. Lots of head by 8:45. If I sit there and write every second, I don't have time for anything else. Shitass is playing events happily. So once again, what is the bum trying to do? Evince living happily. He's trying to run a fraud, and he's playing chainsaw. It's a dirty bum. You're still excrement. Oh, they're making tongue threats. You're done. Ovary, 8:47. Head blowout by bum. Again, large head blowout. And he's playing I'm a victim. He's sitting in the wall, masturbating. Poison is in the shower and masturbates about little boys and kids, and he's calling himself a victim. They're bragging that some of them got to heaven. It's not going to go now. It's going to be molten lead if you get there. It's going to be molten lead for any of you fuckers. As in, you will be gone. You will be melted in heaven. Not for you as in giving you something, but you will be melted in heaven. They took down heaven and they tried to remake heaven all the time. Just as Lucifer would love to have come back, they will pretend to come back. Sometimes they've made fake gods out of my shunted. No, he's got spirits and he's got invisible techniques Satan taught him. He's not talented. You're all urine. Didn't open my suitcase yet because you can't lay anything down. Well, I can. What do I have in there? So it's going to smell unpleasantly mixed with what I'm doing if I don't use it. They're playing You Can't Handle It, and they've been playing it, and they're all retarded zombies. Even people in the college will steal brain. The university will steal brain. They're puppeting, finishing sentences. They play things like have everybody thinking you. Bunch of retardos. 132 million. They even at one point played every child will get you. Every child hates you. Every child hates you. You're going to stay retarded. You're going to shut up, bitch. One of them is threatening, so you're going to pay for opening your mouth. You're not going to be alive in 2 years. You're a dead zombie. One of them, because a couple of them are going to overdose. A couple of them have AIDS and HIV, and you won't miss them. And a bum is threatening Marines and playing huge country. He's a dirty bum. And they've done that in the spirit world, by the way. They've kept people invisible and used them against my favorites. Like they took Marines and tortured them and forced them to go against, like Marines, you know, that were dead, and have them go against regular, normal people. And they're playing minority. And they're trying to give excuses. They were against minority, but you want to know something? The biggest racists will be, in the end, it will be found out that it was certain racist groups in the U.S. that were minorities. And one of the biggest groups of morons will be the whites and others who supported them. And so the game of the Americans, they'll also find an excuse for everything. So they've done large chest, and they like to play You Wanted. A lot of the time I was getting very exhausted. It's not just fighting them, but it's because you have to hear this crap all the time from retarded zombies. Chest, large, and it's a bum on the left. And a bum is still in the bathroom going, you will do this, you will do that. Let's see, they 852 back and either keys or money. Keys made of back chakra. And then they pretend I gave keys to them. And they're playing Warrior and Jessica. And there was a chest blowout, 853, and you're going to. And uterine, and it's hard to write everything. 853, and it's the bum. And by the way, everybody will have all your spines, all your hands, all your faces, all your eyes, all your chests, just as you've done to me. Everybody has it in every universe. Even the tiniest organisms will have control of you to defeat you. And bum 854, bum in car, and uterine. I pray over my tea because they'll try to put cannibalism in it. And the bum is interjecting. He's using ESP during prayer. And he's eating, he took head, and he's playing will take medication. He's a dirty, masturbating moron. They're playing bank account. Oops, I didn't open this all the way. Bum playing, they all sobbed. They like to torture me emotionally. They all sobbed. Bum, they all sobbed. They like to tell me of the torture. They all sobbed. And they talked about heaven. And they're all ruined now. There are no spirits that are decent. And they just bled chest. And always said, believe me, we're decent. So they like to play, we're decent, we're heroes. We've got your chakras, we're beautiful. You're rotten with my chakras. Now you're going to look rotten. You're going to smell it. You're going to look and smell rotten. Chest and 856, whore and head. And a bum saying, I get a UFO. What have they done with the UFOs? They've kidnapped people and pulled them out of their bodies and tortured them. And these are black Nazis in the wall and moron whites. Now they're screwing with side muscle attack. Oh, and large core tissue. Tissue. And they're playing Your Just Spirit. And they're playing Underground. That's been one of the threats, and I think they're playing Hebrew. And he pronounced it Hebrew. Head. Oh, that one of the guys in, like a couple of them, were pretending they read the Bible and they were very Christian on camera. And it's typical of the black Nazis and other morons. Oh, and the dickweed in the wall is saying, I'm a policeman. This is after they've spouted out devil worshipping and, and they just took chest tissue. Think you're the only one who can do that? They're playing Just Realize Christ as he's attacking me and after he's masturbated over thinking about children and molested children in the spirit world and been in on molesting children, I'll bet you, in the real world. The bums are playing surgery. They're playing hold. You just did it to everyone in the U.S. Whatever you did to me, you did to everyone in the U.S. They're playing Poison You. And he just played Evincing Christ. So the dirty bums were down there talking about Christ and how they read the Bible. And the rapists that sit and stand and masturbate into the shower water and pretend I'm the devil, and they've molested children and raped, and they've decimated in the spirit world. Head and sentence finishing. Sentence finishing. It looked lamp-like ENs, and they were threatening me for telling about these lamp-like ENs. They look like gold, sort of rounded lamps. Like a wrought iron candelabra. Head. They're playing soul. They're puppeting. They're playing My Soul is Mexican. And they're playing Change Shape. Uterine attack. Uterine, but it's a vaginal attack, like cutting. They just attacked everyone in the U.S. as many times as I've ever been attacked. When you see crazy U.S. people, just know they're all practicing magic. Even like a guy I saw, he was jerking like a puppet on some kind of drugs. It was the aftermath of something. And they're playing Have You, just like that. Have You, see, they've tried to put every curse on me. And he's calling, remember he called himself godly. And uterine attack. And remember, they've all pretended to be me. So you just put yet another curse, and there was an evil spirit cocking a gun. You're not tough. You're shits. You're cowards with a peep. You're bums. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants you. You're garbage. Absolute garbage. You're garbage. They're bragging about poisoning me. Oh, and by the way, after they, and they're playing Get Laid or something like that. Or they play. Now, after they put glass in my apartment, so around saying she injected herself, she had acne. Well, guess what? I don't have acne. They're playing Ritual. They're playing Just Kind. And I think I just got glass. I dropped something on the floor before it actually mocked a certain area. Then I felt glass on my hand. They're playing Sorrel. What do they mean by sorrel? It means that you would bow down to bastards and shit. He means subordinate. And he can go to hell. So what? I'll take it from you. After your face is cut up, you start to think differently. And you're not, it's like you lose some of the fear. After you've heard all this crap for 20 years or 13 years, you lose some of the fear. They're playing you're not pretty. You know what? No one ever thought you were so insulted by an ugly dog. It just doesn't bother me. You're just ugly, gross dogs, and you look retarded. And America gave racial preference to people, and they also gave preference to drunks and druggies. And it wasn't even all the races that got. If you were Jewish or Arab, you didn't get any protection as much. You got the worst. And a lot of the terrorists, they were actually right here all along, and they were U.S. morons. Actual U.S. morons. If you had asthma and allergies or chemical sensitivity, you didn't get the protection. They're busy giving it to the actual terrorists here, too. Back theft. Dang. Trying to use, and the bum's playing paranoid. Always getting in the wall playing paranoid. This is not enough bleach to do anything. Not bleach. Yeah, they were harassing Arabs after 9/11. Guess who they should have harassed? Home. I wasn't living in an Arab country or any other country being harassed and harmed and poisoned and raped. It was America. I wasn't being followed around by bums that would pretend that I was the criminal. A lot of them delighted in lying, like they'd tell people, oh, she's wanted and we're picking her up, we're police, and oh yeah, tell us what she does. We're doing an investigation. Who are they? Child molesters. Child molester rings. They just took hand. Why would they take hand? Think about it. It's like having your retina. You know about that these days, uterine. And they're playing fat. You're all ugly. It doesn't matter. Even if I were 800 pounds, I'd still be too good for you. See, I gained weight after I got depressed after my face was scratched, and I just ate chest. And there's a zombie in a car. Yeah, if you're a drunk or druggie, they'll have you in a job in no time, especially if you're insane, and they'll have you in on people's records and their credit cards. Tell me about that. But see, if you were a normal person, well, even a woman, I recognized in the system 20 years ago, the ugly, race would bother people I saw, and would be, the women would be called violent. And that's one of the sort of parts of this, the components of the system. Like the rapists would get away with things, and then they'd label they'd label women that didn't want to be raped violent. And because they taped me illegally on video, they pretend I'm a prostitute. Oh yeah, she's a prostitute. She took a shower. She walked around naked. Well, if I dug around trying to find the camera, I could have set off the whole building's alarm. So now I undress in the dark. And as for getting fat, guess what? Maybe in some ways I need to bulk up. I got fat, like I said, I was depressed. Now I got fatter, or lost a little and then got fat. Well, they keep telling me not to eat. 13 years ago, I starved myself. because of all the stuff that went on the fall with Satan, and the, you know, I could hear, but it didn't do me any good. It didn't do them any good. They just took head, and you know, and there's a car in on Aurora. The bums are playing Booker. Often the bums will play the name of very bad people that are disgusting, foul excrement, and then they'll call everybody or everything by that name. The person named Booker that I'm thinking of, he was another freak at Recovery Cafe. I'm not an addict, but I used to go there and eat. I actually haven't had anything to drink even in 5 or 6 years. I was never an alcoholic either. The bums are still playing Ritual. So there's a big, fat, ugly, gross thing up at Recovery Cafe that would, again, scare women. Blackmail. About 6'3". He'd eat salad and he'd make everyone sick. He'd pour ranch dressing over his food, and he would just make everyone sick because it would smear his lips everywhere. But it wasn't just he that was repulsive. A lot of the guys at Recovery Cafe are rapists. It's the system. But what it used to irk me because I'd see these big fat bastards, and they would be taking up probably 5 times the normal carbon footprint of anyone else. Can you imagine seeing them? White, black, and other, and they're up at the Recovery Cafe, and they're eating from about 12 something to 5:30 to 6 almost, eating 5 times more than anyone else, and then getting their clothing, you know, for free. And a lot of these bastards, actually the gang members, they pretended they owned the government, and they pretend that you owe them for anything, even Social Security. And so they'll often call themselves government, and like the black Nazis, they're absolutely so psychotic, some of them, they absolutely think they have a separate government than you do. And they can arrest you and take you away. If you don't have, like one of them screaming about sex, but Daddy, the white guy, he's crazy too. And it doesn't disprove what I'm saying. What it is I'm telling you, the recipe is white people in with the black Nazis. They're playing abortion. They're pretending that I had a baby with these bastards. Never did. In fact, on a lot of my life, I was celibate. I was raped 13 years ago, I believe, by the gang members when I complained about the meth lab. And they injected me. It's an easy crime to do. You just get in with a dirty landlord, or you take out a part of a wall